Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little baby romper. So this romper can be made in a number of different sizes, and for all of the information on how to make the different sizes, please see the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. To begin your romper, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have your slip knot. And now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain. And for our foundation chain, we are going to chain 53. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 53. So I have just finished making my foundation chain, and now we are ready to move on to round 1. So round 1 of our romper is just a simple round of double crochet. So we're just going to do 1 double crochet into every single chain. And we're going to do our first double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain. And we're going to yarn over and go down into this second chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have done 1 double crochet into that chain, and now yarn over and go into the next chain and do the same thing into this one. 1 double crochet into this chain, then do 1 double crochet into the next one, and 1 into the next, and just continue this all the way along. 1 double crochet into each and every chain. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 1, and at the end of this round you should have 52 double crochets, and I would recommend that you just quickly go back and double check that you have 52, and I do. So now we're ready to move on to round 2. So to begin round 2, chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 never counts as a stitch, and round 2 is just another round of plain double crochet. So we're just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then do 1 into the next one, and do 1 into the next, and just continue this all the way along. 1 double crochet into each stitch. So I have finished working that all the way along for round 2, and at the end of this round you should still have 52 double crochets. And now we're ready to move on to round 3. So to begin round 3, chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So in round 3 we're going to do 2 double crochets into 1 stitch, but then 1 double crochet into the next, then 2 double crochets into the next stitch and 1 into the next, all the way along. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch here and do 1 double crochet, and then yarn over and go back down into the same stitch and do a second one. So there we have 2 double crochets both into that first stitch there, and then into the next stitch, yarn over, go down into the next stitch and do just 1 double crochet. And now into the next stitch we're going to do 2, like that, and then into the next stitch do 1 double crochet, and just continue to work this all the way along. 2 1 2 1 2 1. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 3, and you should finish off by doing 1 double crochet into this last stitch at the end. And now before we move on to round 4, we need to join our work. So our romper is going to be joined all the way down the back, and it's just going to have this little opening at the top with a button to make it a little bit easier to get on and off. So what you want to do is take your work like this where you just finished off, and then come around to the other side and then go into the very first stitch of the round, so the first double crochet that you worked. Insert your hook into this stitch, making sure that your work is not twisted. So insert your hook into that first double crochet, pull both sides together, and now we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have joined our work. So you can see this is going to form our little opening at the top, and the rest is going to be joined. And now we're ready to move on to round 4. To begin round 4, chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to start off by going down into this first stitch here. So this is the last double crochet from round 3, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into this stitch. So yarn over and go down into this first double crochet and do 1 double crochet like that. So there we have done 1 double crochet into that double crochet from last round, and now we have reached our first set of 2 double crochets from last round here. And when we did those 2 double crochets into the same stitch, they formed these little V's, and we're going to go in between this V and do 3 double crochets. So yarn over and go in between these 2 double crochets from last round, so in the middle of this little V, and do 1 double crochet, and then yarn over and go back down into the same space again and do a second one, and then do a 3rd double crochet into that space. So there we have done 3 double crochets into the middle of that set of 2 from last round. And now we're going to go into the next stitch here. So this is where we just worked 1 double crochet into the stitch last round. So yarn over and go down into this stitch, this 1 double crochet, and do 1 double crochet. And now go to the next set of 2 from last round and go in between the little V. So go in the middle of these 2 stitches and do 3 double crochets all into this space. Like that. And then do 1 double crochet into this next stitch here. So where we did just 1 double crochet into 1 stitch last round. Yarn over, go down into this stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then go in between the next set of 2, so in the middle of the V, and do 3 double crochets. Like that. And we're just going to keep repeating this all the way around for round 4. We're doing 1 double crochet, 3 double crochets, 1 3 1 3 all the way along, and we're working our individual double crochets, so our 1 double crochets into the individual double crochets from last round, and then we're working our sets of 3 double crochet in between the middle of the sets of 2 from last round. So do 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3 all the way around for this round. So I'm just coming to the end of round 4. So I have done 1, 3, 1, 3 all the way along, and I'm going to finish off by doing 3 double crochets into the middle of this last set of 2 at the end. So you should finish off with 3 double crochets. And then to finish off this round, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. So go into this first double crochet of the round and do a slip stitch. So there we have finished round 4, and now we're ready to move on to round 5. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we are going to start off by going into our first set of 3 double crochets here, and we're going to go into the middle of this set, so into the second double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, and you want to go into the second one, and we're going to work 4 double crochets into this stitch. So yarn over and go into the middle of this set of 3 and do 1 double crochet, and then do a second one into the same stitch, and a third, and a fourth. So there we have 4 double crochets all into the middle of that set of 3 from last round. And now we're going to go into the next stitch. So this is the next individual double crochet here after the set of 3, and we're going to do 1 double crochet. So yarn over, go down into the stitch and do 1 double crochet. And now we're going to go into our next set of 3, and we're going to do the same thing as we just did. Yarn over and go into the second double crochet. So 1, 2, go into this middle one and do 4 double crochets all into this stitch. Like that. And now go to the next individual double crochet here and do 1 double crochet into this one, and we're just going to keep repeating this all the way around. We're going to do 4 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 4 double crochets, 1 double crochet all the way around, working our sets of 4 double crochets into the middle of the sets of 3 from last round, so into the second double crochet, and then working our 1 double crochets into the individual double crochets from last round. So we're going to do 4 here in the middle of this set of 3, and then 1 into this next individual double crochet, then 4, 1, 4, 1, all the way around. So I am just coming to the end of round 5, so I'm going to do 1 double crochet into this last stitch at the end. So you should finish off this round with 1 individual double crochet, and then to finish off we're going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked, like that. So there we have finished rounds 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now we're ready to move on to round 6. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn. And we're going to start off by going down into this double crochet here. So down into this individual double crochet and working 1 double crochet. So yarn over, go down into the first double crochet and do 1 double crochet. And now we're going to move on to our first set of 4 from last round here. And we're going to go in the middle of this set of 4, so in between the second and third double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, and go in between the middle of the second and third one, so into that space in between them, and we're going to work 5 double crochets all into that space. So yarn over and go in between the second and third double crochet and do 5 double crochets. Like that. So like that. And now we're going to move on to our next individual double crochet here. So after the set of 4, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into this stitch. And then into the next set of 4, go in the middle, so in between the second and third double crochet, and do 5 double crochets. So like that. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around for round 6. We're going to do 1 double crochet, 5 double crochets, 1, 5, 1, 5, all the way around, working our 1 double crochets into the individual double crochets from last round. So here and here and here and here. And then working our sets of 5 double crochets into the middle of the sets of 4 from last round, so in between the second and third double crochet. So we're going to do 1, 5, 1, 5 all the way around, so just keep repeating that. So I have finished working that all the way around for round 6, and I have finished off by doing 5 double crochets into this last set of 4 here, and then we're going to finish off by doing a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. Like that. So there we have finished round 6, and we are now ready to move on to round 7. So round 7 is a really important round as we are going to be adding in the shape of our romper. So we're going to be turning this big circle that we have here into a romper shape. So we're going to be adding in a front, a back and 2 armholes. So what we're going to do is we're going to work along a certain number of stitches for the first half of the back. We're then going to skip a number of stitches for the armhole. Work along a certain number of stitches for the front, skip another set of stitches for the next armhole, and then work along another set of stitches for the other half of the back. And that is how we're going to turn our big loop into a romper shape, or the start of our romper shape. So to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn, and as usual this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And we are going to start off by working a stitch called 2 double crochets together. And when we do 2 double crochets together, we do 2 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, but we are not going to complete either of them, and then we're going to complete them both together at the same time. So we are effectively turning 2 stitches into 1. So start off by yarning over and going down into this first stitch here, and start to work a double crochet, but do not complete this double crochet, leave it incomplete. So usually we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stop here and move on to the next one. So yarn over, go down into the next stitch, pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So there we have started a second double crochet, but we are not going to complete this one either. So there we have 2 incomplete double crochets, and you should have 3 loops on your hook, and you want to yarn over and pull through all 3. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, and we have turned 2 stitches into 1. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So yarn over and go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet. Then do 1 double crochet into the next one and the third one. And then do a 4th double crochet. So there we have done 2 double crochets together and then 4 double crochets, and we're going to do that 3 more times. So we're going to do that set of stitches, so 2 double crochets together, then 4 double crochets 3 more times, and that will form the first half of the back of our romper. So we're going to begin our second set. So we're starting off by doing 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 2 loops. So there we have started a double crochet, but we're not going to complete it. We're going to move on to the next one. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, and now we need to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Like that. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So you want 4 of those sets in total. So there we have 4 sets of those stitches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets, and we have done the first half of the back of our romper. And now we're ready to move on to the first armhole. And for this armhole, we are going to skip 30 stitches. So you want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 30. So I have counted up to 30. So this is my 30th stitch, and we're going to skip this one and then into the next stitch. So this would be the 31st one along. We're going to start working a double crochet. So yarn over and go into this stitch. This is the 31st, so skip the 30th one and go into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and make sure you're pulling your work tight when you do this. And then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So start to work a double crochet, but you do not want to complete this double crochet. We're going to move on to the next one. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So there we have done 2 double crochets together. So we skipped 30 stitches and then worked 2 double crochets together into the next 2 stitches. And we have formed our first armhole like that. And now we're moving on to the front of our romper. So we have done 2 double crochets together here, and we're going to work 4 more double crochets. So go into the next stitch and work 1, then work a second one, and a third, and a fourth. So there we have 1 set of 2 double crochets together and 4 double crochets. and we need to do 7 more sets, or 8 sets in total for the front. So just keep repeating that same set of stitches 7 more times until you have 8 sets in total for the front. So I have finished working those sets, so I have 8 sets in total for the front, and now we're going to make our next armhole, and we're going to do the exact same thing as last time. We're going to count 30 stitches, so we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 30. So here is my 30th stitch, and we're going to skip this one, and then yarn over, and go into the next stitch. So this would be the 31st one. Pull our work tight together and start to work a double crochet, but do not complete this double crochet. Instead, yarn over, go into the next stitch and start to work a second double crochet, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, and we have skipped 30 stitches and made our next armhole. And now to finish off this round, we're just going to keep working our repeats till we get to the end. So we have done 2 double crochets together, so now do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Like that, and then just keep working those repeats to the end, and you should find that you have 4 sets in total for this other half of the back. So I have finished working those sets, and we have come to the end of round 7. So now finish off by doing a slip stitch into the first stitch that you worked. So this should be your first set of 2 double crochets together. And there we have finished this round, and you can see that we have the shape of our romper, or the top of the romper. We have a little neckline, and we have 2 armholes, and then the body, so the front and the back of the romper. And now we're ready to move on to the next round. So to begin round 8, you want to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start off by doing 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, go down into this first stitch and start a double crochet, then start a second one in the next stitch and complete them together at the same time. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, and now you want to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we're going to do 1 into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and then a third one. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, then 3 double crochets, and we're going to repeat this all the way around for round 8. We're just going to do 2 double crochets together, 3 double crochets, 2 double crochets together, 3 double crochets all the way around. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets together, and then 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and just keep repeating this all the way around. So I have just finished working that all the way around for round 8. So I finished off by doing 2 double crochets together, then the last 3 double crochets. And now we're going to finish off by doing a slip stitch as usual. So there we have finished round 8, and we're now ready to move on to round 9. So we are now on to round 9, and for the next 7 rounds, so for rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, so 7 rounds, we are just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch. So to start each round, chain 1, so we're going to chain 1 and turn for every single round, and then do 1 double crochet down into this first stitch and 1 into the next, and just do this all the way around, finishing off with a slip stitch into the first double crochet that you worked, and then repeat that again, chain 1 and turn and do 1 double crochet into every single stitch, and just keep doing that until you come to the end of round 15. And you should find that in each round you have 64 double crochets. So you should have 64 double crochets in each round. So just keep repeating that until you come to the end of round 15. So that should be 7 rounds in total. So I have finished working those rounds, so I have come to the end of round 15, and now if you want a longer romper, then you can just add an extra round or an extra 2 rounds to make it a little bit longer, but I am happy with this length here. And now we're going to move on to making the bottom section of our romper. So it's going to come in like this, and we will have some leg holes. So the bottom of our romper is made in 2 sections. We have a front section and a back section. And we're going to start off by lining up our work perfectly. So you want to lay your romper flat and make sure that all of the armholes are lined up and that the neckline is lined up and that it is laying nice and flat. And then you want to turn it round to the bottom like this, and we're going to go to the very last stitch at the edge here. So that's why you need to make sure that it's nice and lined up so that you are going into the right stitch. So make sure it's lined up perfectly, and then go into this last stitch at the end. So I'm going into this one. So I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch. So the very one on the edge here, go into this stitch, and then take your yarn, place it over the end of your hook, pull it through and chain 1, and there you have attached your new yarn to your work. So now we're going to start off by doing a set of 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, go down into the stitch that you just attached your yarn into, and start working a double crochet, then move on to the next one. So start working a double crochet in the next stitch and complete them together. So there we have one set of 2 double crochets together, and now we're going to do a second set. So we are starting off this round by doing 2 sets of 2 double crochets together. And now you want to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 24 stitches. So do 1 into the next stitch, and 1 into the next, and just keep doing that until you have 24. So there I have finished working those 24 double crochets, and I just quickly want to mention that when you are doing this round, you need to make sure that you are working into the back of the stitches from the previous round, so from round 15. So you can see I have the back of the stitches here, so I'm working into that side of the stitch. So I'm working on the wrong side of round 15 here. So we have done 2 double crochets together, 2 double crochets together, 24 double crochets, and now we're going to finish off by doing 2 more sets of 2 double crochets together. So there I have one set, and there's a second set. So there we have done round 1 of the bottom of our romper, or this side of the bottom, and now we're moving on to round 2. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn, and as usual this does not count as a stitch. So this round is very similar to last round. We're going to start off by doing 2 sets of 2 double crochets together. So do 1 set and then a second set, like that. And you now just want to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along until you reach 4 stitches from the end. So you want to stop when you get to 4 stitches from the end. So just keep doing double crochets all the way along. So I have worked double crochets all the way along, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left at the end. And you need to make sure that you're not counting this little chain 1 as a stitch. Stop before the 4 last stitches. And then to finish off this round, we're going to do 2 last sets of 2 double crochets together. So do 1 set and then a second set, like that. So there we have finished round 2, and we're ready to move on to the next round. So we are now on to round 3 of the bottom of our romper, and for the next 4 rounds, so for rounds 3, 4, 5 and 6, we are just going to repeat round 2. So that is the round that we just did. So to begin each round, chain 1 and turn, and then do 2 sets of 2 double crochets together. Then do 1 double crochet into each stitch until 4 stitches from the end, and then finish off with 2 more sets of 2 double crochets together. So you want to repeat that round 4 more times, and you should find that with each round you do, you have less and less stitches in each round. So I have finished working those rounds, and this is what I have. And if you wanted this section at the bottom to be narrower, then you can just do as many of those rounds as you like. With each round you do, it will get smaller and smaller by 4 stitches. So you could keep going down until you had just 4 stitches left if you wanted. And then once you have done that, we can fasten off. So pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, leaving a tail to weave in later. So I'm going to cut my yarn like that. So there we have finished the first half of the bottom, and now we're going to do the second half in the exact same way. So turn your work over, and you want to attach your yarn into this first stitch here that has not been worked into. So this one was worked into for the front, so you want to attach your yarn into this next one here, and then work that all the way along in the exact same way as the other half. So do all of those rounds in the same way, and you may be able to remember what to do, or you can go back in the video and rewatch those steps. So do the other half in the same way. So I have finished working the other side of the bottom of my romper, and then when I got to the very end, I used a yarn needle to sew up the 2 parts. But if you wanted to have it open, you could just use some poppers or some buttons to keep this section open. And if you wanted it to be longer, then you could add a round of plain double crochet onto the bottom of each section so that this part here was longer. But I just did it to that length and then joined it. And there we have finished our romper. So now you want to go ahead and sew all of your ends into the inside, and then on the back, so you can see on the back, I added a little button up here at the top. I added a cute little strawberry, and then I just used the spaces in between the stitches on the opposite side as a button loop. And we have this little keyhole at the back, and we have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. And in the description box below this video, I will leave a link to where you can find my Twitter account. So if you would like to go and follow me on there, I always like to post updates and pictures of upcoming tutorials, and I would love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter as well. And in the description box, I will also leave a link to where you can find some of my written patterns if you are interested. And thank you again for watching. Bye.